There's a kind of prison most people live inside, their whole lives without ever noticing the door shut behind them. No bars, no locks you can see, no one standing guard. It's built out of old arguments you never finished, insults you can still recite word for word, and the exhausting habit of needing people to see you the way you see yourself. And every day, it doesn't take your money. It takes something you can't get back. It takes your peace. Right now, somewhere, the person who hurt you has already moved on with their day. They're texting a friend, and tonight, they'll fall asleep without a second thought about you. Meanwhile, you're still rehearsing what you should have said in a conversation that ended a long time ago. Here's the part that stings if you sit with it. They're not controlling you anymore. You are. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire stretching across 3 continents, legions, provinces, more power than almost any man in history. Even he admitted the hardest territory to govern wasn't Rome. It was the 6 inches between his own ears. But he figured out something most people never do. Nobody disturbs a mind that refuses to open the gate for them. So ask yourself honestly, how many nights have you lost to someone else's opinion of you? How much of your future is currently being rented out, unpaid, to people who forgot about you weeks ago? The old Stoics had a word for this, and they didn't soften it. They called it slavery, because the chains nobody can see are always the ones that hold tightest. What follows are 10 ideas the Stoics left behind, ideas that have outlasted empires and thousands of years of people trying to prove they didn't apply. None of them are about shutting your feelings off. They're about becoming someone circumstances can't move. Stick with it. The last one is the difference between a man who's merely calm and a man who genuinely can't be broken. 1. Man the walls of your own head. No empire ever fell the moment soldiers showed up at the gates. It fell the moment somebody inside decided to leave them open. Your mind works the same way. Every insult you keep turning over before bed, every person you've given free rent inside your head, is a gate standing open. Nothing gets in from outside. It gets invited. Picture a fortress with walls thick enough to stop an army. The commander inside isn't worried about the enemy's numbers. He's worried about one guard deciding to unbolt the door before sunrise. That's how peace actually gets lost, not from outside force, but from an inside job. Every time you explode, that's a key handed over. Every time you scramble to defend your name to someone who was never listening, that's another one gone. Marcus woke each day expecting to be undermined and plotted against, and before he moved his troops, he settled his mind first. People could question his decisions, mock his authority. None of it touched who he actually was, unless he let it. His real battles were fought against the urge inside himself to react. Epictetus put it in words that still land 2,000 years later. Men are disturbed not by the things that happen, but by their opinions about the things that happen. It's never the insult, it's the meaning you decide to hand it. Watch the ocean during a storm. On the surface it looks like chaos, but a few hundred feet down, it's still. The deeper the water, the less the surface noise matters. Shallow people get knocked around by every opinion because they're living right at the surface. Depth is a decision, and once you have it, no one can insult the real you, because the real you was never sitting in their mouth to begin with. So before you move on, be honest. Who's still living rent-free in your head, uninvited, for months or years? The day you finally shut that gate is the day you stop being owned by other people's opinions and start owning your own mind. 2. Quit pouring fuel on fires you didn't need to fight. Imagine standing next to a fire with a bucket full of gasoline instead of water. Every angry reply, every attempt to defend yourself to someone who's already made up their mind is another splash on the flames. Most people think they're standing their ground. They're just keeping the fire alive. Not every fight is worth winning. Some wins cost more peace than they're worth, which makes them losses in disguise. Every minute spent trying to make someone understand you who has zero interest in understanding is a minute you'll never get back. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own, and plenty of people are happy to spend it for you if you let them. If someone insults you, understand they're only talking to the picture of you that exists in their own head. That's a mirror pointed at their own fears, not a measurement of your character. Once that clicks, their words lose their weight. Look at the strongest people you've known, rarely the loudest ones in the room. They don't sprint to answer every accusation. They understand that storms burn themselves out eventually, while mountains don't have to move an inch to prove anything. Silence isn't surrender. Half the time it's the loudest form of confidence there is. So ask yourself, how many fires are still burning purely because you keep feeding them? Sometimes the win isn't arguing better, it's walking off before the argument gets a chance to own you. 3. Become someone nobody can reach. Every man eventually has to answer a question nobody can answer for him. Will you keep chasing approval from people who can't manage their own emotions? Or will you become someone whose peace isn't for sale? Most people never even ask. They just wake up and auction their mood off to whoever bids loudest that day. Whoever controls your reactions is quietly running your life. No chains required, just a predictable response. The moment someone can guess how you'll react to anger or fear, they've figured out how to move you like a piece on a board. Picture a mountain under a storm that won't quit. Thunder cracking, rain hammering the rock. When it clears, the mountain hasn't shifted an inch. The storm was loud. The mountain never had to answer back. That's the whole difference between noise and strength. Marcus wrote that your mind eventually becomes whatever you keep letting into it. Every grudge you replay is another brick in a cell you built yourself. Your worst enemy usually isn't the person who hurt you once. It's the version of you still reliving it long after they moved on. So stop asking whether people understand you and start asking whether they've earned the right to. Peace doesn't come from finally convincing the world to be fair to you. It comes the moment you're simply too solid to be moved. 4. Live like you already know how it ends. The old Stoics practiced something that unsettled people. Before any decision, they reminded themselves that one day their name would be said out loud for the last time, and the world would keep spinning without them. Not to scare themselves, to burn off every fear that wasn't worth carrying. Walk through the ruins of any old empire, statues of kings whose names once made armies nervous, now covered in dust, standing in silence, nobody bothers to interrupt. Time doesn't negotiate, it just keeps moving. Ask yourself something most people never have the nerve to ask. If your life ended a year from today, would the argument keeping you up right now still matter? Marcus reminded himself that everyone who praised him would die, and everyone who criticized him would die too, so their opinions were never worth building an identity around. Reputation belongs to the crowd. Character belongs to you. One can vanish overnight, the other survives anything. 5. Let the wrong people walk. You were probably taught that everyone deserves access to you, that you should always explain yourself, always forgive, always keep earning a place with people who already decided you don't matter. Nature doesn't work that way. The sun doesn't rise to convince the blind that light exists. The strongest things alive don't beg to be noticed. They just exist, and the world adjusts around them. A lion doesn't turn around because birds are shrieking above him. He keeps walking because he understands what the birds never will. Noise isn't power, attention is. The moment you stop reacting to every slight, the people who thought they controlled your emotions realize they've lost access completely. Nothing rattles a manipulator faster than someone they can no longer manipulate. Seneca warned that the worst way to waste your life is handing your time to people who treat it like it's worth nothing. Count how many years disappear because someone was scared of losing a person who never once feared losing them. But the harder you chase respect, the smaller you get. Real respect has never come from desperation. It's always come from quiet, unbothered dignity. There's a hard moment every strong person reaches. You have to stop mourning the people who left and start mourning who you became, trying to keep them. Maybe what you actually lost wasn't them. Maybe it was your own calm, your own sense of self. Get those back, and you'll realize some people weren't stolen from you. They were cleared out to make room for who you were always meant to become. 6. Stop needing to be understood. At some point, everyone learns something painful. No matter how honest you are, someone will call you a liar. That's not because your explanation wasn't good enough. It's because people rarely see you clearly. They see you through wounds they haven't dealt with, and stories they'd already decided were true before you opened your mouth. Think of a still lake under a full moon, reflecting everything perfectly, until someone drops a stone in it. The reflection breaks apart, not because the moon changed, but because the water did. When someone's mind is stirred up with jealousy or insecurity, they can't see you as you are. They only see the ripples caused by their own storm. The moment you try to control what's happening in someone else's head, you've already given up control of your own. Every explanation becomes another chain around your freedom. The desperate need to be understood is really just fear of being misread. And fear was never a solid place to build peace from. The strongest people in history shared this trait. They let misunderstanding exist without letting it define them. Marcus was criticized while running an empire. Seneca was resented for his wisdom. They didn't waste their lives correcting every false story, because truth doesn't get stronger from being defended, and a lie doesn't get truer from being repeated by a crowd. 7. The world tests the man you claim to be. Every day quietly asks you a question without saying it out loud. It watches how you react when someone disrespects you, watches what happens to your patience when things stop going your way. Then it hands you a grade, not based on what you claim to believe, but on who you become the moment comfort disappears. Think of an old blacksmith standing before a furnace hot enough to bend the air. He never wastes that heat on cheap metal. Only the strongest steel gets hammered, cracked, and folded back on itself again and again until every weak spot disappears. It doesn't understand why it's suffering, it just feels the heat. But what walks out the other side becomes a blade that lasts generations. Life doesn't test you because it's against you, it tests you because nothing turns to strength without heat first. Marcus never prayed for an easier road, he prayed for the will to stay himself while walking a hard one. Every insult was a test of patience, every betrayal a test of integrity. Most people fail this test without noticing. One insult and their patience is gone. Slowly, without meaning to, they let the world edit who they are. That's the real victory an enemy can win. Not that they hurt you once, but that they changed who you turned into afterward. 8. Bury the version of you that keeps holding you back. There's an enemy that's followed you since childhood. It knows every fear you've hidden, every dream you quietly gave up on, and it's used all of it to convince you that greatness is meant for someone else. The uncomfortable truth is this enemy has never lived outside you. It's always spoken in your own voice. Most people spend years bracing for outside battles while ignoring the one inside their own skull. No prison is worse than the one you build with your own thinking. Long before anyone else defeats you, you usually convince yourself first that you're not built to get back up. Picture a soldier walking into battle with armor already cracked underneath, invisible from the outside. From a distance, he looks fearless. But the first real hit shatters him because the damage was there before the fight ever started. Marcus wrote that the soul takes on the color of whatever thoughts you feed it. Fill it with fear, and you start seeing danger everywhere. Your inner world becomes the blueprint for everything you build outside it. At some point, every serious man has to bury the version of himself addicted to excuses, not out of hatred for it, but because it can't carry him anywhere worth going. 9. Get to the point where pain can't run your life anymore. There's a level of strength most people never reach, the point where life stops being able to bargain with you. It sends failure, and you stay disciplined. It sends betrayal, and you stay honest anyway. That's the level where suffering stops being your enemy and starts becoming the thing that built you. Picture an old oak on the edge of a cliff, taking the same brutal winter winds every year. Smaller trees snap in half around it. The oak stays standing, not because the storm went easy on it, but because every winter forced its roots deeper into the ground. Comfort makes for fragile lives. Resistance builds the kind that don't break. Seneca said fire tests gold, and hardship tests real character. Most people admire that line and ignore it the moment their own hardship arrives. They ask, "Why me?" and hand their peace over to circumstances they can't control. The Stoic asks a different question. What part of me is this pain actually trying to build? That shift turns rejection into discipline and loss into the start of real freedom. And people notice how you carry weight, whether you realize it or not. Character was never a private matter. 10. Live in a way time can't wipe out. Everyone dies twice. Once when the heart actually stops, and again, much later, when the last person who remembers your character forgets it too. The Stoics feared the second death more, because it means a life spent chasing applause instead of building something worth remembering. Walk through any ruin of an empire that once believed it would last forever. Marble cracked, crowns turned to dust, voices that once commanded nations gone quiet. History barely remembers most of them, not because they lacked wealth or armies, but because their character wasn't strong enough to survive the centuries. Marcus knew his empire would eventually be nothing but a memory. The only thing in his control was who he chose to be before the sun went down each day. So he measured his life by one quiet question: did I leave my character stronger than I found it this morning? That's the whole secret. Not one dramatic moment, but thousands of small, correct choices stacked on top of each other. One day, your possessions belong to someone else, and the people who said your name daily will eventually stop. That's not a reason to be afraid. It's the reason to stop wasting what's left. In the end, the only real question left standing is who you actually became while everything else quietly slipped away. That's the whole point underneath everything else. Life was never about beating every rival or winning every argument. It was about becoming someone suffering couldn't corrupt, praise couldn't intoxicate, and hatred couldn't poison. Once your character gets stronger than your circumstances, the world loses its grip on defining you. That's real freedom, the only kind of wealth death can't touch. Nobody's going to remember how many arguments you won. They'll remember how you carried yourself when things fell apart. Guard your mind, protect your character. Let time be the proof that you actually lived, instead of just getting through it. People will still misread you. A few will try to provoke you simply because they can't manage themselves. But you'll know something they don't. Your mind isn't open territory anymore. Your peace can't be bought with flattery or stolen with an insult. Marcus reminded himself every morning that he had a choice: be owned by the world outside or govern the one inside his own head. That same choice is sitting in front of you now. Not your family, not your past, not the people who hurt you. Only you get to answer it. Life is going to test you again. It always does. And storms have never once asked permission before showing up. But neither has the mountain before it decides to stand.